the Order of the Black Lotus. Each of the defendants charged today was also a member of the Order of the Black Lotus. Carol described this group to her co-conspirators as everything radical.
This sounds like a
Welcome to the show, and welcome to Close Up Right. This is an intelligence report on the Turtle Island Liberation Front, published on December 18, 2025. Precedence routine. Bottom line up front, the Turtle Island Liberation Front had key leadership and an armed cell recently arrested by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, in which multiple members were allegedly creating HME, Molotov cocktails, and planned with training with firearms for a planned attack on Los Angeles, California, in multiple locations on December 31, 2025, which citizens and American companies in Southern California were targets. The Turtle Island Liberation Front, TILF, is an armed anarcho-communist, or Antifa, anarcho-queer militant group, which has multiple elements throughout the United States, yet has a major presence in the Los Angeles, California area. Public social media appearances have been documented to be established since July 2025. The name Turtle Island originates from American indigenous tribes like the Iroquois, who called North America Turtle Island. In recent times, it's been used by groups rejecting Americanism, or the English term for the continent, with them highlighting satellite imagery, maps, and globes to show the landmass which they claim resemble as a turtle. This aligns with the trend of far-left groups rejecting the term North America as a colonist artifact. While TILF would use this sort of language and LARP as an indigenous group, trying to emulate the Mohawk tribe based in Canada during the Oka crisis in 1990, the language, politics, and demographic composition of members within TILF would signify it as simply another anarcho-communist, anarcho-queer armed group, putting it in the same category as the Benjamin Songcell or Stonewall Underground. Much of the presence on TILF would be an emphasis regarding pro-Palestine behavior, despite it claiming to be an American indigenous movement, calling for the working class to fight against capitalism, and they state that direct action is the only way, and peaceful methods such as protesting would lead to a downfall of a group's political will. Social media engagement and other comments seem to have several comments on the Instagram page to be from the Durango, Colorado-based Durango Anarchists, aka the Dirty Hands Collective, which is an anarcho-communist group. But it is to be determined if it's under the category of an armed group. Rhetoric from TILF would include, as stated in their propaganda and social media, would include terms like death to America. It claim in the same breath that the interpretation of that term is violence from external scrutiny and prejudice. Also seen in propaganda are messages such as death to ICE. Much of the group's presence prior to the FBI arrest on December 12, 2025 would be based in California, often through public-facing activity and advertisement on an Instagram page called Turtle Island Liberation Front LA, as well as in-person events and protests, most often in Los Angeles. They have also conducted field feeding operations for recruitment and support. A social media account that would appear to be an almost certain member of TILF would be an Instagram account known as @lesbians4liberation, aka Hot Take Jewelry. At a scheduled physical event called Give Palestine pop-up at Jackson Market, which was scheduled to be held on December 13, 2025 at 4065 Jackson Avenue, Culver City, California, zip code 90232, hosted by Code Pink Los Angeles. This event would have other groups of similar political alignment such as Queers for Palestine LA, Code Pink SELA, Entertainment Labor for Palestine, SoCal Uprising, and other unidentified groups which posted their logos on the advertisement. On a federal criminal complaint released on December 13, 2025, and released to the public on December 15, 2025, by the Department of Justice, stated that alleged senior leadership with 4 members were arrested on charges of conspiracy and possession of an unregistered destructive device. The document and media released by the DOJ also shows of a smaller armed subcell within TILF called the Order of the Black Lotus, in which these aforementioned alleged TILF members are a part of. Turtle Island Liberation Front and its armed subcell, the Order of the Black Lotus, was alleged in a criminal complaint for the creation of Molotov cocktails, improvised explosive devices, as well as a plot to attack multiple businesses within the Southern California area with members to obtain firearms and firearms training, and training in small unit tactics to assist in the facilitation of a mass casualty event on December 31, 2025, New Year's Eve, with the objective to attack 2 U.S. companies with 5 total locations simultaneously with IEDs concealed within backpacks, after which a red downwards arrow would be painted, as well as a political message. Within the group, they called this operation Operation Midnight Sun. These arrested individuals stated in the criminal complaint are Audrey Eileen Carroll, Zachary Aaron Page, Dante Gaffield, and Tina Cheng Ting Lai. Audrey Carroll goes by the alias of Asiganak and Black Moon. As stated in the criminal complaint, she operates the official Instagram page. 30 years old, very likely she is the leader of TILF. Within the criminal complaint would be the one to lead logistics, coordinations, meetings, HME research, and planning. Zachary Page, who goes by AK, Ash Kerrigan, and Cthulhu's daughter. He is a transgender individual, age 32. He is also likely a liaison between TILF and other far-left armed groups. This would facilitate in the group receiving firearms training from other TILF members, specifically one stated to have military and firearms training experience. He would also assist Carroll in operations planning. He also obtained precursors to HME. Among the California group, probably has the most firearms knowledge. Funnily enough, one to observe that the group's actions may be under FBI scrutiny or observation. Dante Gaffield goes by Nomad, age 24, more or less a foot soldier for TILF, or the Order of the Black Lotus. Not much else is known about him. He is the youngest of the group, but apparently wasn't involved in the executive planning, or appeared to have any knowledge in anything in particular. Tina Lai goes by Kickware, age 41. Almost certainly one to assist in logistics and driving, such as having a large Jeep capable of transportation to worse terrain in the Mojave Desert for IED testing, or to help facilitate obtaining precursors to HME. Outside of the criminal complaint, there was an arrest of another TILF individual outside of the Los Angeles cell. He is known as Micah James Legnon, age 28, also known as Katari and Dark Witch, who also is a transgender individual. He has law enforcement experience as well as prior service in the United States Marine Corps, with apparently the rank of corporal. He is based in New Iberia, Louisiana. This is the aforementioned TLF member by Page who had military training. Other individuals mentioned in the criminal complaint would be 2 additional co-conspirators, a confidential human informant, as well as an undercover FBI employee, which is noted as a UCE within the criminal complaint. TILF, or the Order of the Black Lotus, has been alleged by the DOJ criminal complaint with several details into steps to facilitate large logistical planning, such as the surveillance of possible locations to target, having members of the cell be familiar with firearms and explosives, obtaining precursors of HME in conjunction with bomb-making guides, the use of encrypted communications, the use of burner devices, the use of Faraday devices, as well as rehearsals on the assembly and testing of HME. On November 26th and on December 2nd, 2025, Carroll leads the group on attack plans and an initial meeting in downtown Los Angeles with Page, Gaffield, Lai, and at least 2 more conspirators, a confidential informant, as well as the undercover FBI agent. Carroll would distribute handwritten notes and plans for the attack during the meeting, as well as instructions for making black powder pipe bombs. They would use multiple layers of clothing during the planned attack by using black bloc, or all-black clothing that is commonly found among Antifa-aligned groups and individuals. Underneath that would be street clothes. Gloves and concealment of hair would be used to reduce DNA signature. Specifically among members, they individually would acquire certain equipment and explosive precursors. They would be acquired using cash, or through burner accounts and electronic devices. These materials would be obtained between December 3rd to December 9, 2025. Specifically from these individuals. From Carroll, PVC pipe for pipe bombs and potassium nitrate, which was ordered from Amazon. From Legnon, a planned acquisition for unregistered Armalite pattern rifle parts and assembled Armalite pattern rifles. more than likely AR-15s. However, what is certain is unknown. From Page, pistol primers, timing circuit boards, and cigarettes as an alternative bomb-making fuse. And from Lai, a Jeep SUV for transportation, PVC pipe for pipe bombs, cotton string and twine for fuses, as well as tables, chairs, and miscellaneous camping equipment. The Order of the Black Lotus would coordinate plans to travel to the Mojave Desert, in the vicinity of Lucerne Valley, to camp as well as test improvised explosives devices once all precursors were obtained. On December 11, Carroll's Amazon order of 2 5-pound bags of potassium nitrate has arrived from a previous December 7 order, which was retrieved from an Amazon drop locker. On the morning of December 12, 2025, the cell travels to the Mojave Desert with 2 vehicles. The confidential informant was with Carroll and Lai, and in a separate vehicle were the undercover FBI agent with Page and Gaffield. On arrival to the site around 1000 local time, they have set up 2 folding tables, folding chairs, a shelter, and afterwards was setting up precursors on the table. After that, the undercover FBI agent has used a signal to observing tactical law enforcement, and shortly afterwards all named individuals in the criminal complaint were arrested while they were assembling HME. Precursors seized were 2 containers of potassium nitrate, charcoal in a bag of charcoal powder, sulfur powder, approximately 20 pieces of PVC pipe in multiple sizes, including pipes with 4-inch and 5-inch diameters, a gallon jug and water bottle containing gasoline, 5 glass bottles, a bundle of twine in a bag, 7 cloth rags, 2 cotton shirts, and a respirator, goggles, and 6 boxes of primer. Warrants were carried out in each member's residence, where propaganda stating "Death to America" and "Death to ICE" was found at Carroll's residence. Page's residence contained a copy of handwritten attack plans. Gaffield had a stolen taser. Lai had several pieces of cut PVC pipe with a saw. If convicted, the suspects would face a statutory maximum penalty of 5 years in federal prison on the conspiracy count and up to 10 years in federal prison on the unregistered destructive device possession count. Meanwhile, another TILF member, Micah Legnon, was arrested on December 12th with additional separate plans to allegedly carry out an attack in New Orleans, Louisiana, in a separate criminal complaint which was filed on December 13, 2025, and released to the public on December 16, 2025, which alleged that he wanted to create a, quote, Waco-style attack. He was arrested with a gas canister, a rifle, pistol, and body armor. He posted imagery of the body armor and rifle to the Signal chat, messaging to the group, just in case. On December 15, 2025, at 15:29 Zulu, FBI Director Kash Patel posts on X regarding the arrest of Turtle Island Liberation Front members, while posting on a news headline from Fox News saying, "Over the weekend, the FBI disrupted a credible, imminent terrorist threat and arrested 4 individuals connected to the Los Angeles area. The subjects self-identified as members of the radical offshoot of the Turtle Island Liberation Front, an extremist group motivated by pro-Palestinian, anti-law enforcement, and anti-government ideology. They're allegedly planning coordinated IED bombing attacks on New Year's Eve, targeting 5 separate locations across Los Angeles. In the days since, FBI New Orleans arrested an additional 5th individual believed to be linked to this radical TILF subgroup, also allegedly planning a separate violent attack. Outstanding work by our investigators and law enforcement partners, the Justice Department. Their work undoubtedly saved countless lives. FBI Los Angeles will hold a press conference later today to share additional details." Around the same day, other journalists would cover the group, such as Andy Ngo and Ford Fisher, who have posted their findings of the group as well as a publicly released criminal complaint. Analyst comments can be found below. The Turtle Island Liberation Front is a typical example of an armed anarcho-communist, anarcho-trans militant group when it comes to their stated political goals, objectives, composition of their members. Fortunately, the FBI has done their proper methods to arrest this group after the group's stated goals of political violence on social media. This recent arrest of a far-left cell with the involvement of a confidential informant, undercover agents, as well as other law enforcement activity, has placed more confidence to the public in reporting actionable threats from these groups as a tip to the FBI via tips.fbi.gov, as their actions with arresting TILF are testimony into them finally taking these groups more seriously. This is in direct contrast to publicly available records from the FBI regarding the leader of Community Armed Self-Defense, a Eugene-based Oregon paramilitary group, Charles Landrose, back in 2018, which is also the predecessor to Doll Squad. Charles would make multiple threats against law enforcement, and afterwards an FBI ground team was observing him and his brother Joseph Landrose, aka Mia Rose of Doll Squad. Then the FBI determined there wasn't anything actionable. Yet next year, Charles opens fire at police inside of a middle school, after making more threats towards the police. This sort of event draws parallels to the FBI stopping a conspiracy of an attack involving the Virginia cell of a nihilistic accelerationist and racial supremacist group, The Base, on January 2020, which the group planned on launching a coordinated attack against an anti-gun control rally at the state capitol in Richmond, Virginia. This rally and protest had a large presence of constitutional militia as well as Boogaloo-aligned militia, such as the Virginia Kikoas. A former member of the FBI, Scott Payne, would describe his role as an undercover employee in his infiltration of the Virginia The Base cell, yet his focus would be on nihilistic accelerationist and white supremacist groups. What is notable would be the use of Faraday devices as well as the use of Signal among TILF, which seems to be a popular phone-based chat app among the far-left domestic adversary paramilitary, as noted in Stonewall Underground, Black Flag Civilian, the Benjamin Song Cell, as well as other far-left groups. The Glow So Bright reports are in a way vindicated in the threat much of these armed groups pose to the American public. Understanding their leadership, location, doctrine, and capabilities are important to keep both the Fed and the private citizen informed and to act accordingly. And the imminent harm, threats, and planning from domestic adversary paramilitaries have indeed a foundation of evidence and substance behind it.